Welcome to the video. My name is agentoosonic, and in this video I'm actually going to show you how I make my art videos. So let's go ahead and switch to the computer, and then we're going to go from there. Alright, so as of right now, the program I'm using for my audio is going to be Audacity, and this is where we're going here. I can always do my audio stuff, put on my blue light glasses. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and minimize this real quick, and the program I'm going to be opening up is Davinci Resolve. Now that we have Davinci Resolve opened up, what you want to do, I'm using the studio version, but you can do a lot of things that you can do in the free version. Untitled project, I right click and I go to project settings. This is important because if you do not change this, it will mess up your entire frame rate if you filmed it at a higher one. I filmed in 59.94, so I save that. Make sure the aspect ratio 1920 by 1080. That's going to be the 1920 this length and then 1080 this length, kind of like the length of a monitor. So that's all set. Vertical resolution is if I want to do like shorts and stuff, but we'll get to that later. So save. I already made one here, so that way you guys can see how to set it up. But I'll just start over for y'all. So the clip that you guys saw obviously had multiple shots. It had different cameras and stuff like that. So what I want to do, in the master media pool area, you'll right click and you go to new bin. This is how I categorize all my stuff. What I do, I get a bin, right click, and I rename it. And then this one I'm going to name top camera, just for like the top. New bin, right click, side camera, and then top click, new bin, shorts, because I wanted to make this one into a shorts. So we do that, and wherever you save your files and everything like that, that's where you're gonna go. I ended up saving it to one of my drives, and I ended up already putting each individual camera angle into those camera angles. So I select everything from the short folder. Once it loads, I move it into shorts. Side, I'm doing Control I for the keyboard shortcut. Import. And right here, if you click on the master, that's where all your folders are going to be at. Click on top, import those, and boom. Now, the fun part of this, you have a few tabs. You have right here where you can see your media. This is like the cut page. It's like a light version of editing. And then we have the color tab, or the fusion, the color, the fairlight, which is like the music, and then deliver. I'm going to be working in the edit tab mostly. Not mostly. Yeah, mostly, because there's a few things I'd like to do. But to keep it as streamlined as possible, I want to make this the video. So I don't think I have, when I was talking, in order to see like a little scrub, you can either run over the clip by hovering over it, or you can double click like this. I'm going to mute this so that way it's not all over the place. You drag along the timeline and it goes like that. And of course, if you hit play, I got this 200 drawing prompt book. Let's go ahead and get started with day one, being like that. And of course you should go from there. So that was for the shorts. I always mute it whenever I'm like running through it, because if not, it'll like run the audio really quick. But yeah. Let me show you how I had the camera set up in this clip here. So you'll click and hold, drag it down here. If you see how this orientation is, you click on the actual footage right here. Up here in the inspector tab, you'll click, and this will let you rotate. Now I want it to be like this, so that's going to be 90. I double click, hit 90, and then the zoom in, this is like 1 by 1. I will zoom in. I'll use my scroll wheel to zoom the entire video out. I zoomed this in, and from experience, it looks like it's about 1.8. So I double click, hit 1.8, enter, and that's going to be what resolution you have. So then I hit this plus to zoom in on the timeline. This magnifies it. You can do segments, you can do the full timeline, or you can just go here. If you hover over it, it shows like what it does, the full extent, the detail zoom, and then the custom zoom. I like to do the full, because I like to see the full timeline. Now, that being said, when you do that and you have like a whole timeline, it will show the entire timeline. So if you're just trying to look at like a clip, I personally do like a custom zoom, and I have to kind of like tab it so that way I can see. What I would do, me personally, you can either control A, select all the clips in this folder, or you can drag and hold. It goes like that. This is my audio wave. I'm going to scrub through and see what I need, what I don't need. Awesome. And then as far as it goes, I know for a fact, since I'm making such a short video, I'm not going to have any audio. So I just went in, dragged all the way through, hit the backspace to delete it, and if you do forget it, you can Control Z. Control Z is your best friend, but also Control S to save. Let's see, how to make an art video. I Control S so many times because I've done a lot of edits, and I lose a lot of things if something happens. So back to it. So scrub right about here. So since I'm doing the short, I don't want to film me actually doing the short video. So I decided to start right about here. So Control B is how you'll split this entire clip. And how we already did the entire delete, I won't need any of this. So I'll Shift, delete. Alright, so now that we got the clip already set up, this is what I know I'm going to want. I'm going to want the side angle. I scrubbed through to make sure I can see everything came out. Okay, cool. And then from there, that's when I start doing like the deciding factor. I know my top shots are also going to coincide with it. So see the zoom in angle. And this one, I only had 3 clips. It was really close to zoom in. And I know for the sakes of this video, I was going to make it really quick. I think I want it to be like about 30 seconds. This is where a lot of creative decisions come in play as far as what you want to do, how you want to do it, what style are you going for. So for the quick 30-second like video that y'all saw, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I have myself doing like a little drawing. So I would probably do something like here where I would have myself wanting to start. So I would go like that. I would Control B to split, and then I do Shift backspace to delete. So I know I want that. I always Control save. You're gonna see that a lot. So grab that. I check out this. So you can adjust the timeline by clicking on this line right here and dragging up, down, whatever you want to do. I like to keep it a happy middle like this. And if you hover over the little picture video of it, you can zoom all the way in like this or zoom out. I like to keep it about a happy medium about here. And let's see. I know, like I said, I'm not going to need any of the audio, so I will I would just hit delete because I just want that out of the way. Don't have to worry about it. So now, this sidebar here, this is as far as it goes over here. You want to make your workspace look all nice and pretty. This is what I like looking at. This is what I like seeing. Audio is going to come later. But as far as video, top, double click this, see where it's at. This is like all the way zoomed in. So I will probably end up grabbing some clip that doesn't have the phone in it because I don't like that. That seems like it's kind of in the way. That's the focus of it. So I would like to go ahead and pick about here. Yeah. One thing you can do, right? One thing you can do is align the clips so that way they work in tangent with one another. And to do so, What you're about to see is probably going to freak you out. Don't worry. I'm actually going to go back to my timeline, collect the whole thing, and just delete. I know it seems crazy. But you can drag this video to the timeline. This only works, of course, if you have it recording audio. Like multiple cameras are recording audio, like how this one's recording. And you know that they're about the same time frame or some. Then you want to go ahead and drag the other one. Now look, you drag it to the timeline. You see how it shows video 2 right here? If you drag this to video 2, it'll show the audio 2, which is the audio from the second video, right underneath it. Now, if you were to drag it to the same timeline, same spot, where the top camera was, it overrode it, everything, because that took the spot. So I'm just going to Control Z. Don't worry. Your top down shot, or whatever you choose, is right there. Going back to this video, I will put it on video 2. And if you hit play, it's going to play whatever track is on top. So it's going to show the side camera. If you don't want to see that, just disable that video track. Same with the audio. That way you don't hear both audios. And disable. Now, that being said, I want to align both of these because these might not be perfectly in time. So I will drag my mouse, select all of it, right click, and then right here has auto align clip. I do it based on waveform. You click that, it's going to analyze and see how it moved just slightly. It aligned it exactly where it needs to run. Lift these audio waves up, you see how these line up. Now, that being said, I don't need the audio waves anymore, so I will delete. And I will see where I want to start that drawing again, which looks to be about scrub. Here. Yep. So I will Control B, select, Shift, delete. And then, like I said, I want to do the top-down shot to be the first one. We're gonna like run through this real quick. So, boom. So Control B, I'll delete. And this again, this is where you have all the control and the executive decisions. I actually, now that I know these are aligned, I will have the top down for about 1-2 seconds or so. I will Control B. I'll delete the clip of the side angle by selecting it and just hitting backspace. So now the only thing here that you're watching with both tracks enabled is that side shot. And then see how this one's here? I have this like this. So I'll go about there. We're already 6 seconds in the video. So if someone's watching the video, this is what they see. See me drawing, and then it switches. They see that one being drawn. I personally think that's just enough time to have everything going. So then Control B. I'll delete the bottom one, which is that top down one, by just backspace. And I personally like to drag the timeline down. So you select this clip and drag down. If you accidentally drag it over, that's fine. Control Z, and it puts it right back in space. I'm very cautious whenever I do make these videos like this. So I Control Save every single time because I don't want to sit here and ugh. Now, if you're getting kind of confused, like, oh, look, these videos look very similar. Like, I don't know the camera angle. If you go onto the video and right click, you can change the track color. So you can make it orange or whatever else. But now you have a very stark difference of what these look like. Same thing with the audio. You can change the track color. But since I have no audio, that's not necessary right now. So we have this, and because I know this is kind of like a plain shot and there's too much staticness, like it's just like this the entire time, what I would do, I'd click on this clip because I'd want to zoom in. You can go to this inspector. That's how you see like, oh, the zoom in or the position on the x-axis or the y-axis is where you can rotate like we saw earlier. You can change like the pitch. You can change the yaw. And again, if you want to change anything, right here in the top right corner is this little master undo button. I'm not going to go too far in depth with the rest of these because that's going to be a lot to take in. The only one I want to focus on is this dynamic zoom. It's the easiest thing that lets you zoom in. If you select it by clicking that, you go back to your video and hit play. This is the default. It's the linear, so it's just like a linear thing. I actually like that, and I'll just swap it. So it starts with the full frame, and then you just hit play. It zooms in, and then I would switch to probably a clip of the close-up of the top down really quickly. That way you see do. So let's go ahead and deselect that track. We'll click on here, and because I want to double check to see when I show the phone camera so that's not showing up like really quickly, I'll scrub through the timeline. So see how that one shows up? So this goes here. It's not too much in the way, but see how that one's like really in the way? I would probably do a quick zoom here. Go like that to when the phone's about to come in. Control B. And that's going to be the quick segment that I have here. I'm not going to need this side shot, so I'm going to select. Check to make sure that clip is selected. And then I'm just going to hit backspace. Deletes it. So we have this. I'll enable this that way you can see what we have so far. We have this little zoom in. And then we'll have this be a really quick segment. If you want to speed up this segment, you can do the right click. And right here where it says change clip speed, you can click on that. And then you can change it by the duration or speed, like so. But I don't like doing that too much unless I'm doing like a really long, like 2-hour segment and I want to see the speed. Otherwise, what I find the easiest, I do Control R. Keyboard shortcuts save me so much time. So Control R. Right here, next to the percentage of how fast the video is, there's a little black arrow that you drop down. You can reset it back to 100. You can freeze frame and a few other things. I'm not going to go too far into it. Change speed. You can change it by 200, by 400, 800, or if you have that Control R already selected, you just, if you want to take it off, Control R again, Control R. If you grab the edge of the clip and you move it, it will automatically show you how fast the speed's going to go. So this is like 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. And I know it disappears once the clip gets a little bit smaller. So if you zoom into the timeline, it still shows it. So 800, 900, 1000, 1200. If I did this, the timestamp here is at 8 seconds and 24 milliseconds, 6 seconds and 10 milliseconds. So that means this clip is about 2 seconds long, which I think might work. So what I would do, I zoom back out and I go here. Don't worry about this gap yet. We're going to address that in a second. So hit play. And this is what you're watching right now. Doop, doop, and sped up. Okay, I'm okay with that. And again, once it does like a zoom in, I might do. I look at this and then I say, okay, cool, that looks pretty decent. Zoom in, and then the speed drawing portion. I don't like how that's just sitting there. I do prefer to do maybe like a dramatic zoom in. So like we have this one, yeah, that one's cool, but it's only going to go oh so far, oh so quickly. So what I want to do, I want to actually move in a little bit closer. So to do so, like, of course, you go right here to transform. I would check the zoom and see how close in I can do. You see, if I go directly zoomed in, it's going to stay fixated on that portion. So I want to actually move it just slightly over. In doing so, we'll move it along the x-axis. But if you move too far, you'll go directly off the whole video. So if you go and check this, that's the end of the video. I don't like that. So I'll probably go about here. And since we already have a motion actually of zooming in, I probably will do something where it's panning to the side. So I know the subject is going to be about that big. So what I would do, I would want to move it maybe from here in the beginning. So I want to start here. To do that movement, hit this little red dot here. This is going to hold the position. And then at the end of the clip, I want to end about, zoom in so that way you can see a little bit more detail. where this is going to end at. It's going to end about here. So this will take you frame by frame. Let's get near the end. Zoom in, 1 frame over. So if you click on the clip, remember how we already had that selected? See this little arrow? This is going to show you like, oh, your change. I want to move it about here by the end of it. So we're going to go ahead, zoom back out. I'll close the inspector to get a little bit more screen real estate. We'll go back here to the beginning of the clip. And if you hit play, it's going to move like that. So right now we have this entire thing right here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, cool. I like that so far. We're at 8 seconds. And now we already have this shot, and this shot. I sometimes like to go back and forth, but I feel like if you do that too many times, you get like really bad whiplash. So we're going to keep it with a top shot, which are going to be about here. If you look at the video clip, you see how there's this red bar that shows you what is actually in the timeline, and this little bit isn't. So that little bit is what we deleted already. And remember, we still have the rest of this clip here. This space right here will have nothing for about 20 something seconds. That's fine. I like to give myself a little bit of leeway whenever I'm working on clips. And if we look, we still have the top selected. We can scrub through the top and see what it looks like, but it's fine. Zoom back out. That way we can go back to the little beginning, disable that video, and then we have this. When I'm doing some edits, I actually pick the audio first. I would go back and forth, like listen to the music and stuff like that and go on beat. So like if I had some cinematic music, I'd be like build up, and then it kind of goes really quick. And so from that point on, I'm like, okay, what kind of pacing do I want? How long do I want the video to be? What content am I creating? Like what all needs to be shown in the video? So like I was saying earlier about the video, I would go back and forth, like listen to the music and stuff like that and go on beat. So like if I had some cinematic music, I'd be like build up, and then it kind of goes really quick. And so from that point on, I'm like, okay, what kind of pacing do I want? How long do I want the video to be? What content am I creating? Like what all needs to be shown in the video? This is a quick look. Choking on my lunch. Sorry about that. This is a quick video. We're already 8 seconds in. I'm not trying to make it too long. Quick 30-second clip. Okay, so we already know we got the zoom in and everything like that. I watch these videos a lot. I see the side drawn and everything like that, and I want to show some progression. So I'm not necessarily going to keep showing, you know, like this whole thing here, this whole thing here. I will probably at this point hop around the timeline a little bit. And using the top camera in this instance, I can see where the phone is, so that way I know what not to pick. So I know, for example, I wouldn't use this section here. So if we were to pause that, deselect that track, and have this one disabled, I can see like the side angle. Because I think it's about time we have some side angle. I would say about here, I could probably do a little bit of a fast forward. So let's go ahead and do that, because that does look good. We're going to go about here. So we don't need any of this. I'm going to ripple delete this time. So I can either right click and do ripple delete, which is going to bring this, I'll show you real quick, all the way to where the marker is. Or I will undo. It'll go to here. If I were to go here, select it, and then delete, it'll still keep it where it was, but I know where the marker is going to be at. So I'll move this whole timeline here. That way these clips are together. And I'm going to scrub through it. I want to keep about, I say here, because this is where the drawing starts getting a little bit more details. So I run through to see where my phone shows up. It shows about here. So we'll probably have about this much worth of clip, which I'm not going to sit here and have this for a whole minute. And remember, this is just the first clip. We still got so much more details to show. So let's go ahead and click on this, right click. I already cut it with Control B. And we're going to delete the bottom. We're not going to need that. We're going to speed up this part, Control R. And if we were to do the pre-selected, change it to 800, it goes from 8 seconds to 17. So this is a 9-second clip that you'll see for this period of time. But you got to think, 9 seconds of already of an 8-second clip is already be more than what we already saw. So let's go ahead and actually zoom in the timeline a bit. Let's bring this down to about 4 seconds. So that's going to be about 1600. No, that's still too long. About 3200. Yeah, that's about 2 seconds worth. Now, this is where it comes down to your PC's performance. This clip is 60 frames per second. I think it's H.264. I'm not sure. That's a whole codecs kind of thing format. When I hit play, I can scrub through it and it'll look good, but it might take a second for it to render properly. Now, the free version, and I can vouch for this, the free version does a beautiful job. It does well. It runs on your CPU. There's some technical stuff where it runs something different, but when I worked on the studio and it's taxing my GPU and not my CPU or anything else, and I have a 3080 Ti Founders Edition, so if I hit play, it's gonna run through pretty well. But what you can do to make it run a little bit smoother, if you right click here and you generate optimized media, what it'll do, it'll tell you how long it's going to take for it to generate. And again, my PC, my computer isn't that bad. It just makes playback easier. There's a few settings you can change, and I'll show you after this finishes. But word of caution, when it generates optimized media, it is actually generating a separate clip in wherever you saved it at. If you're working on a very long project, what it will do, it will make all these clips run beautiful in your timeline, but it eats up data. And I'm telling you it does that because I working on a project, not getting too far off a tangent, I promise. I was working on a project like years ago. I was like, why am I running out of so much space? All my generated optimized media was in a folder on my main drive, and it was projects I didn't even work on anymore. I went in, deleted all of it, and I got like 300 gigs back. That being said, if you click play now, it's much smoother and it runs all the way through. Again, that's one of those asterisk, performance may vary. So go ahead and go back. We'll enable the video clip. This is what we have so far. And then we'll have this. Now I want to have this zooming in, and I just don't think that the dynamic zoom will do it well enough. So you can do like ease out, just change the option instead of linear where it's the default. So if you do play, it zooms in. And now that it's zooming in this particular framing, I will go to the top. So we will go here. I'll zoom out. That way I can go back to this. And I want to disable so that way I see what I'm working on, which is going to be right here. I like that. I like this clip here. And I actually want to hurry up and accelerate the video, because if you think about it, we're already at 10 seconds. We're already a third of the way through. We still have this clip here, which is going to be not the best, but that's going to be like the blue inking, and then this is like the detail. So I want to have some time to be able to do more of that. Maybe like about 10 seconds or so of the secondary one. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, just a little bit more detail. And then this one maybe like 8 seconds, if that, because it's a lot of cross hatching, but it gets kind of muddy. So what I'm thinking is that now that we got this, we got this, we got this, I kind of want to have it where okay, top down shot. Let's go ahead and disable this. We're zoomed in perfectly on the right frame. What I want to do now, I want to have clips. So maybe we'll do something like one Mississippi. We'll clip that, delete that because we're not going to need it. We'll hop over about maybe here. I'll go ahead and mark it. And marking is a very useful tool. It's what I do to keep myself, oh, I want this particular spot here. If you want to mark a certain clip, so like right about here, you can either Control M, which marks it on the selected clip, which I could put cut, and I can change the marker so it doesn't blend in. Hit done. Or if you want it to mark on the timeline itself, this is useful if you're going through a few other clips and you want to align them. If you just click anywhere on the timeline and Control M, you can do the same thing. You can do cut to mark and go right here, add marker. If you want to modify the marker, you just Shift M. So look, Shift M, it'll do this one. You can Shift delete, or if you click on here and then Shift M, it goes there. Now watch. If I cut it here, where's the cut at? Oops. Control B. Cool, that's fine, that's dandy. Control B. You can delete the top one since we're not using it, and this bottom one you delete. That stays there. Now watch. If I move this, it stays right here. This marker on this clip will stay here, but the timeline one will stay on the timeline. So just keep in mind, if you're like segmenting, clipping things, that's where it's going to go. All right, so we know right now this is what we have. We'll do one, we'll do this. Let's go ahead and click that. So we're at 19, 20, 21. And then let's hop out to, let's see, if we went over here, is that too much? Yeah, that's too much of a difference in my personal opinion. I like to have a little bit of progression, but not too crazy. I don't want to lose these clips, so I will grab these. And you can either drag like this along the timeline and go like that. And then you can see what you got. And then as I'm watching it, there's some things that I'm like, do I want to keep that transition? Do I want to keep that movement and stuff like that? Do I want to keep it like that? And then go from there. So we got that. I Control S to save. Hop back here. Do I want to have this clip here? This is that 1 second clip we just moved. Control B, delete. So let's see. How do we got so far? There's a lot of like watching over and over again that happens. So zoom in. I got that. We got it like this. We got the angel. Click. And let's do another segment of the top shot. So we're gonna go here, disable this. And then let's do, I want to say, clip it here. I'll delete that. I probably actually want to run it quicker, so I might actually do, yeah, about this much while I'm still actively working on it. But see how the camera starts to show up. So we're gonna end up do that. The phone gets in the way. So we actually have enough time between here. So let's go ahead and mark that clip. Oops. Control M. Let's do cut 2. Let's do yellow. So from that point on, move the timeline down. I drag it. I think we get a decent amount between here. And I pause for a second because I'm doing the other camera. So, yeah. So let's do that. That much right there. So we'll clip. We'll go back to the marker, clip, and then clip this by Control B. When you select it, it'll delete both clips. Click there. Go here, Control B, both clips. And let's delete that top one since we're not going to use it. I'm now going to click on the timeline that this is on. And if you hit backspace, it moves everything back. I did that because now at this point, I know what I want and I know what I need. If you get scared that you might be deleting something, just Control Z. You can manually select all of them, drag it down, and it'll take it right here. Where this magnet is, that's how everything snaps in place. But if you don't have this magnet on, deselect it. If you were to do this, it'll still go directly to it, but word of caution, if you select it and you move it, it won't snap at all. So let's go ahead and put the magnet back on. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna drag it back here. And what we got so far, we'll enable the timeline or the track. Go like that. Bring this down. We got it right there, right there, right there. And again, I want it to speed this up. So Control R. Let's move this to, how long is this? 12, 37. So that's 20 seconds, give or take. If we do that times 4, it's about 5 seconds. Yeah. If we do it as times 800 should be about 2 seconds. Let's go ahead and connect this together. Click that, zoom in on the timeline, and let's see what we got. Do. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I thought I would like that. I don't necessarily like it because it jumps, me pause kind of sort of, and go from there. Let's put it where I'm actually working on it. So it's about right here. This is where I start going in a little bit closer frame by frame. That way I can see out here. Control B, shift, delete, backspace that. So got that. Do. And then let's go ahead, delete the rest of it because I don't want any more close-up shots. If you look here, this is aligned correctly. Got the camera. And it comes in about here. So let's put that there. How much time do we have left? Okay, Control B. We can delete this clip. And then let's go ahead and delete this marker. We don't need it anymore. So we got about until here. So Control B. That cuts it right there. Get rid of the phone. Okay, and then delete the rest of the clip because it's not going to contribute much to what we have already. We're going to mark this here. Got that there. And of course, this is just going to be a very quick video that y'all saw. As of right now, I'm editing this video, and then I have to make the video that shows me making this video. It's a long, laborious process, and I love it. I love everything about it. Even though I seem like I'm stressing going like this a lot, I genuinely do love it. So, Let's do a slow pull zoom in. Because what we'll do a slow zoom in here. Do I want to keep this as a static shot? I feel like maybe because we've had so much movement already. But we want to run it for about 4 seconds. So it's like, because there's not much detail that you'll capture from this without y'all not seeing it. So yeah, we'll run it for about 4 seconds. We start at 1407, 15, 16, 17, 18, give or take. We'll Control R to speed up. Then we'll drag the top end, zoom it down here. And if you zoom in the timeline, that takes you to 1310. So I will Control R to close that. That's just a personal preference. You can adjust the height like this with the track. It's just going to the line right above where it says video. Go from there. I don't really need to see it. The cross dissolve. I don't really need the cross dissolve. Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't need it. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I accidentally pressed something and it automatically did that. So let's go ahead and keep that on here just in case. I want to maybe add a video effect. So if you go over here to your toolbar, usually this is like collapsed. So I just open it up. This is video transitions, audio transitions, titles, generator effects. On the free version, if you go here to generator, cool. But effects is where it's like all the stuff right here will have watermarks. So go to your regular video transitions. Maybe do we want to pull it open? If you scrub over it, it'll give you like a little demo. So let's see. Do we want to push from there to the barn doors? Do we want to slide? Because we already have it going fast. Let's do a push. Yeah. So we'll grab this here. If you go back, it'll push it forward like that. I don't know. Do I want that? Undo, Control Z, push to transition it. Because then it'll push it like that. But see, I don't know. Because if it does that, it eases it. And then it goes like that. Do I want that? Let's watch it. Yeah, we can. We're already at 18 seconds. So that would mean in the next 12 seconds, we'd want to work on the rest of it. So I actually want to speed this up a little bit more. And bring it down to about 2 seconds. Yeah, that brings it 2182. Inspect, because I can also do a zoom in on there. So if we do this, see how it's zooming out. We're going to swap. Go here, Control S. I don't like how long that takes. So if you click on the transition and go to inspect, you have the duration, you have the push, you have the border and stuff like that. Actually, do we want that? Let's see if I shrink it down. Yeah, we can. I just feel like yeah, we can. So Control S, and now we're gonna go to our top shot of a little more detail. Now this is where things get kind of iffy because of the way I was recording and just naturally going over what I draw. So we're gonna have to do a lot of quick splicing. So this is gonna be the segment of the video here. I know you guys watched our super long video already. This is probably like 40 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Editing is a glorious process, I promise. It takes some time. So now that we've done oh so far away, let's go ahead and go to the top shot. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Bring the timeline out and drag it. So now that we can see that, we're gonna bring the whole clip here, bring it to line 1. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move it down a little bit. I always do this in case like there's some weird issue with the video trying to align itself. We're going to go to the side camera. And we're going to drag this one on top to the second line. And this looks like it's lined up, but remember to control, drag your mouse. Right click, you go into auto align clips. And based on waveform, it's going to analyze to make sure it lines up. And this is actually something I wanted to show. No match when attempting to align these clips. Sometimes this happens, and I don't know why. But if you look, like if we scrub through with the top video selected, right? Like these are obviously the same one. Because you see the red color pencil, it lines up. And then if you deselect it, and then you see the red color pencil. I'm not sure why this happens. It happens every now and then. So what I do, I zoom in a little bit. I move this. So the waveforms, and I then at that point visually inspect to see what lines up. This takes some time, this takes some learning to do. So if you scroll through, see where things look like it might line up, where there's some peaks and stuff. It looks like, let's see, I'll try to auto align them again just in case, but I'm pretty sure yeah, I'm gonna have an issue with it. So now this is the fun part. So I know I grab the red pencil here and I start. So then we're gonna mark this clip here. We're gonna mark it audio align. We're gonna go ahead and do that in yellow. We're gonna do the same thing for this clip. Mark auto align. Audio mark. That's where these are gonna sit. This is the one we're gonna have to scrub. So we're gonna disable the video track and see where the pencil first touched the paper. And looks like it's about relatively close, to be honest. So let's check the audio wave, see where there's a valley. And it looks like it's just barely off. I'm gonna deselect the magnet so that way I can move freely. I think it's actually like right here. Cause I have that dead wave part right here. Oh. Yeah, so that does not touch until we touch down there. Let's check here. If you zoom in on this camera when we're watching it and go frame by frame. Where's the first time I do it? Okay, so that's before I have the phone up. So then we're gonna check here again. So I was about to mark it. The phone comes up, and when I'm recording with the phone right there, let's go ahead and go back. I'll mark these two clips. Mark a red line. go here, enable, disable. Let's see, I have the phone. That's the bicep. Let's zoom in so that way we can see what it looks like. So right there. So we need to deselect that, select that, zoom back out. And we need to move this to match about here, actually. And that looks pretty darn close. Now, because it's just a drawing and it's not like anything like people talking, I'm okay with that. If you do the magnet, it should align each marker to the marker. So if we go here to where it starts, what I'll do, I'll actually just Control B and I will delete. And then we can, let's see, we'll play on a mute.
What time are you going to Georgetown for lunch? What time are you going to Georgetown for lunch?
Okay, I didn't realize I had audio playing, so that's another way you can just listen to it. I know this one's a little bit ahead, so Love and then went to Georgetown. So if I want to mute this track, which is video, which is this top video, so let's play.
What time are you?
So this is when I say what. So if I'm not mistaken, this would be it here.
What time are you?
Yeah. So not too far off, not too far off. I know that was like a super delay in the process of editing, but it's what helps me out. So what we'll do, we will have to move it just a bit here to here. That's all we're missing. So now I believe these should line up perfectly.
What time are you going?
Okay, so it's going to be this way.
What time are you going to Georgetown for lunch?
Yeah. So there we go. I don't know why it does that. That happens a little bit more than I like to care to admit. And if someone that's watching this actually knows.
What time are you going to Georgetown for lunch?
Okay. So now they're perfectly aligned. Let's go ahead and mute because I don't want to keep hearing like a whole bunch of. So again, don't want the phone in there. These are now aligned. So what I'll do, because I know the phone's going to be in there, I'll just mark it about, yeah, there's a lot of portions I'm actually on the phone. Doesn't matter where, because it's still going to be the side shot that's going to kind of suffer. How does the top look? Not the best. And that's why like I knew this was going to be a rough portion. So we will have the inking, and that'll be here. So let's Control B all that, delete. We don't need any more audio because these are the only two clips we have. Got about here. Turn the magnet back on, that way it snaps. And let's see, do we have anything important out here? No, we don't. So we can select right here, Control B, and then we're going to go down, backspace. So we don't need this audio anymore now that these are perfectly aligned. Delete, Control S, save, cool. Let's go ahead, go back and see just for a refresher what we have so far. Okay, so that's what we have. Sweet. So now I preferred some top shots at this point. And the phone is going to be in the way just because how the filming was, but I can start right here. I don't know how much was actually like in the shot, But I'm assuming if I'm going with something with music, it'll be like a beat. So we're going to control B, delete this. Boop. Here, I'll click this empty space and backspace. So that way we should have this little quick segment. And then we mark up right about there. Okay, so delete that. We'll go ahead and drag these two over. Make sure the magnet's on. Cool. And then that's it right there. Control B, shift backspace, ripple delete. So we got, I don't like that because it was too quick. So let's go ahead and extend this back out. Go drag your clip. You can extend from where you originally were by grabbing the edge of it and going like that. So if we go back here, that's exactly where we were, which is really good timing. So boop, like that. Like that a little bit better. So play it. So let's give it a little bit more time. Sometimes when like you have a fast segment and you're playing your timeline, it won't directly go like that. So let's go. See, because it's still playing, I'm going to generate that timeline real quick. That way we have just a little bit of a smoother flow on the timeline when it's replaying. Okay. At this time, this is where I can tell you all the little stuff while we got like 20 seconds left. I love doing this. I love creating videos and everything like that. I've been in a mood to just teach how to create these things. So that's why I did the video on like my film equipment. This one's like how to make the art video. And then this is like the little art video that I have. And that's why I plugged in the short, because then you can see the full short of it. Obviously, you guys are going to be watching the process of how to make the video and stuff. And y'all get to see the actual video. And then, of course, when all the short clips are done, I can do that in another video. But I'll do a different content stuff to make that one. It's almost the same thing as this, but there's a little more things you got to do and work on. So we're going to work on that later. Don't really know why I'm playing with this little drawstring jacket thing. Okay. That being said, go ahead and play. See where we're at. It does that quick move, and then it clicks over here to me doing the mark. Perfect. And so now this is where we're going to have to do like a few of the tempo things. So control B, delete this. I'm going to keep these sessions in a whole bunch of the close range, because if we go back to our regular side view, we see that the phone is very present in a lot of it, except for when we get back to here. Yes. So actually, is that going to work? Yeah, so we'll do each of the ticks as a clip. So doop, doop. So we need to shorten that. Control B, delete, go to the next one right there. But see, the phone's in the way. I don't like that. So then the next one that's in frame is right here. Control B. Oops. We're going to go ahead and delete this. We're going to drag both of these here. Doop, doop. So doop, doop. And that one's off frame. Let's see, what else would we do? Phone's in frame. Okay, and then the next one is on the angel. So let's go ahead and go here. So we got doop, doop. Oh, actually, see, I messed up. Doop, doop. That's where I was supposed to save. Doop, doop. Okay, so click this, go like that, delete the top end. We're going to shift delete to ripple delete, control S to save. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop. Yeah. Doop, doop, doop. Do that. Delete this. And then from there, because we are now at 17 seconds, we still have to do a lot more details. So we're going to have a sped up segment that transitions to a side shot, because I don't believe we have anything for a minute. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do until the phone comes up. Yeah. So we're going to click this here. And then what we'll do a halfway point. That way we have both camera angles. We've had a lot of side shots for the last 8 seconds. So I think it's going to give a good refresher to the eyes to have the second one on. So we got from here, we got the side camera going do 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 do. Then we got this over here, do 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 do. Push it over, do 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 do. And then we have the side shot, which I think we're going to go ahead and speed this up to 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Yeah, so 2 seconds. Keep that marker there, drag that there. And so now we got do 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 do. Okay, and then since this was the break in between, we'll pause, delete this. Sheba's here. Hey girl. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drag this one here. And then this was going to take us all the way to 20 seconds. Cool. We'll control V. We want to take this to, oh, actually I almost had it, 22 seconds. So drag it there. Zoom out on the timeline. That's 869. So we know that that's going to be nice for it to render. Cool. And now at this point, because I want to create that dramatic like this, I don't think we're going to need any more of this. Yeah, because we got a lot of side footage actually. Yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to grab this part of the clip here. And then we're going to have run up until here. Keep that side shot. We're going to run this for about 3 seconds. That'll take us to 25. We'll do about 2 seconds of hatching. Yeah, 2 seconds of hatching, and then we're going to have the reveal be about a few seconds. So let's go ahead and speed this down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about here, down here. And this is probably the fastest segment we have, which is 5745 speed. So save, Control S, save that. So we have this, it's going well. Now, mine can run it fairly well, but again, if you want the smoothest possible, just go ahead and generate an optimized clip by right-clicking it. This is going to take a little bit longer because it's a longer section, and it's also a lot more to compress. It says it's already at 10%, which is going to be in about 10 seconds or so. So we're going to clip this, and then we're going to come back whenever this finishes. So yeah, you'll see like a jump. Meanwhile, I'm still sitting here watching the whole thing. All right, so now we're back. So if we go ahead and hit play, now that it rendered out, it's much more smoother. And so we're already at 25 seconds. So if we already went here, and at this point, y'all have seen this video probably like this so many times because that's kind of the process. And it just helps me refresh, like seeing what I'm creating right now. So we got do. Now you're probably wondering, Sean, whenever you like get done with this and you pick up a song, aren't you gonna have to edit and move things around? Yeah, I do, but that's kind of part of the process. So we got that sped up, and now we're gonna do a top-down shot to have the crop zoom in of the hatching. We're only gonna have that for a few seconds, and it's just gonna be like a really short segment of it. Let's see, top down. It's not in here. It's only at the end of this. So we're gonna go ahead here, click there. I'm not gonna do any more side shots because we are running short on time for that. Because again, I was trying to stick around 30-ish seconds. So yeah, now we just have the cross hatching. So that's just gonna be a lot of tempo movements. So we got that one there. That's when first shuts down. We're gonna control backspace, do that, and then clip here, go a little bit further down about here, control B, and then shift backspace. Okay, control B, go down a little bit more, control S to save because again, me. We're gonna go here, control B. We're gonna click that clip, select or shift backspace. So now we got and then anywhere else we want to go? Oh yeah. And then we'll grab the pencil for some shading. And we'll make those about half seconds since those don't need to be that long. Let's see. That one's a little bit too long in my opinion. Just enough to be noticeable. So we got. And then we can move this one in. So we got do 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 do, and then shading, we got that. We're gonna go ahead and pick the pen, doing some quick movements. Close that. I know the battery's getting low. Okay, so we got do 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 do. Click that, and then what else? We'll click Control B, Shift Backspace, and if we want to run through, what else? Yeah, we just want to have it do the markers real quick, and then we'll fade out. So we'll Shift Backspace, and then this is probably one of the few things that I'll actually get for the final reveal. So I'll have it where this now opens up. So let's keep this here, Control B. Let's make sure we're not deleting anything that we wanted to keep. No, because that's the clip. So we Shift Backspace and we'll open this. So what we'll do, we'll keep like this. Yeah. Well, actually, we want to have it so it's closed. Out here. And then, perfect. So now let's go ahead and change the speed with that selected clip. Shift, Control R, drag this down, click that, hit backspace to get that be rippled. How long do we want this? And then, how is this looking already? Okay, cool. And boom. And when it closes, drag this like that. We'll go to the reveal shots. So delete that. And this is the one few times I actually probably will use the shorts footage. I believe I have a decent one here. Now this is going to be the fun part, trying to make sure that you got the actual stuff, which it looks like it's this last clip, which we're going to grab, delete the audio, boom, and yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll have it so that way it's right here. I'm going to clip, Control B, Shift Backspace, so we have boom, there. Now, this is the technical part. Since this is already full like this, if you were to just select this clip, Control B, so that way you don't select the rest of this clip, you can, if you really wanted to, zoom in really close, right? So that way it fills up the whole screen. If you do that right, you got this. Like, you can do that and it'll work, but then the hard part, if you want the whole thing, you're going to have to move things around, shift it, because like this full frame here, if you click on that and zoom in, it won't be the full thing. You can do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. And you can keep that like that, or when you're done, and because that was a nice full frame, we'll go like that. So we'll probably speed it up. But they have a thing in the sidebar that we haven't acknowledged yet. You can go over and you can go to effects, right? Open effects. And if you go right here to the, I probably should be able to read, right? That might help. To the blanking fill under the Resolve FX stylization. That's how it does that whole border barrier thing, keep things sharp. If you grab this, right, and you drag it and put it on top of the highlighted clip that you want to do it, boom. So now, let's go ahead and rewind a little bit. Boom. And it'll show it like that. Now, that being said, you can do that and it'll look like that. You can make it a little bit better. So if we have that, go like that, zoom out. Sorry, like that. We zoom back in, but I kind of want to do it so it's already there. So actually, I'm going to delete both of these clips. So you go like, and it shows like that. You can adjust this by going to the inspector, going to the effects tab, and it has the source. It shows you where you want to zoom in on the source. That's the original thing. Crop left, crop right. I kind of want to crop it just a little bit to the left some. Right, I'll keep it at -1. Top, you can change it however you want. I'll keep it where it's at. If you reset, you reset. They can stretch to the timeline. You can zoom to stretch to the timeline. You can manual warp top layer. The fill appearance, that's where you're going to get this whole, oh, is it blend? Are the edges sharp? I do a little bit of blend and fill, a little bit more. You can blend the background. You cannot have the background blended. It can be super great bars. I do like happy middle because this is what it looks like if you reset everything. I kind of want to make it feel a little more organic like that. Fade amount, you can pick how much you want to fade or none at all. We do a little bit like that, and then you can change the fade color. So if you drag this to the side, you can change it. I kind of want to go a little bit of a lighter blue to give it that same vibe with that. And then close the inspector. You got this. And then you have it like that. And then from here, I control B. I would delete this part here after I go to control R, and I would capture a freeze frame by clicking down, freeze frame. And so now this looks a little bit complicated, but if you go like this, freeze frame. And then you can do whatever else. You can let it do its thing. And I personally would just keep it like that. Now with control B, get that clip, delete. And then I would keep it as is. They see the final for about 2 seconds. So we can extend that out if we want. But what I would recommend if you want to keep that image like that, or what have you, we have a picture here, although we already have a picture. We got this here. You can go here to the color tab. Don't be intimidated. All I'm going to show you this. Go to this picture, right click, grab still. That's going to give you an actual picture of it, okay? You're going to go down to export. I'm going to save it to my desktop. And I'm going to put angels, because that's what it was called. You can save it as whatever format you want. I just keep it as JPEG, export. Then you're going to go back here to the timeline that we were just at. You're going to go Control I to import, desktop, and you're going to click it, which for mine is right here under angels. You're going to drag it down, and now that you got your freeze frame, see how it's not letting me like directly clip it because this is in the way? No worries. I'll just do that, and boom. That's your final thing, and I'll do a zoom in because it's a small image, dynamic zoom, swap, so that way it's zooming in on it. And you got like that. And of course you can change like how you want to zoom in already. I do want to start it with it already zoomed in. That way it's the full image. I'll move it up a little bit, and then there it goes. If I wanted to actually do like, you know, agentoosonic, I can. And I don't want that to be too distracting. So now we're going to get into text. So we're going to go to titles, text. You want to drag it up here to video 3. That way you can work on it. I don't want it to be that long in the video. Control B. We're going to go here. Basic text. If you go here in the middle, you'll see where it sits. And then I'll just put at agentoosonic. I'll go here to agentoosonic. If I can spell. Control A to select it. I will change it to Poor Richard. I just like that font. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Inspector, settings. That's to zoom in and out. And then right here is to go down on the screen. So if we did it here, this is where it sits. And kind of go from there. I think it's better off if I have it on the side shot. That way people can see it and it's not obscuring the actual drawing itself. So we're going to go ahead and go to settings. We're going to adjust down the Y-axis by moving it over. The title itself, I want to give it a little bit more definition and character, so I'll probably do it like this. The drop shadow background, I'll probably make the drop shadow, which is just gonna be like the outline text, a little grayish white. That way it stands out a little bit more, and then I'll just move the offset to about here. Now I want to give this a transition because we're already zooming in. So let's go ahead and click right here on the side. This little arrow here is going to give you a nice little cross dissolve fade, and we're going to bring it back down. And then we're going to need to get, oops, we're going to control C. We need to get an Instagram logo. Okay. Now that we got our image, we'll drag it right on top, put in track 4, video track 4. We'll put the magnet back on. That way we click this one together. We're going to trim it down by control B, delete the empty stuff, change the size of the track. We're going to drag it pretty much about the same. I think it's about, what, 40? 44? 40? Yeah, so we'll put this about 40. That way they're on the same time. This is at 30. Yeah, so we'll put this one at 30. There we go. Okay, and so now this is what it looks like. Both of them show up. We do need to change this, obviously, so we're going to position this one over some, move it down, and then we're going to zoom out size, make it a little bit bigger, like that. I think that's still too big, so we're going to shrink it just a little bit more because it's a little bit easy to know what the Instagram logo is. Perfect. And now that we have it, this is what it looks like. It shows up like this, and then it fades right back out. Then we have that, just enough to catch their eye. We're going to save, Control S. Do this thing. And at this point, y'all have seen this video a lot, so thank you. Speed up, go like that, zoom in, change that, speed up, close it, boom. Although I think what I want to do, I'd want to slow this down so that way it's a little bit more dramatic. And I know we already have this as quite of a long shot and it's over the 35 seconds. So actually I want to move that here and clip it in. That way it's like boom. And then we have zoom in. I think it touches 40 seconds, I think. Yeah. Okay. And let's see here. If we did slow this down, right? If we were to slow this down by Control R, we can click the drop down arrow. We can do a speed ramp and we can change the speed from there. But no, that's a different time, different thing. So save. And now the music. I grab my headphones because I don't want y'all to have to worry about hearing the same thing over and over again on that end. So let me go ahead and put this on. Now for music, there's a few places you can go. I have a lot of music. So let's go ahead and go back to the master folder. I create a new bin for audio only. So new bin, we're going to do audio. For much more in-depth and much more bigger projects, I would end up having either like voiceover folder, background music, or BGM. I'd have SFX, which are like my sound effects. So I'd have various folders for that. But for the sakes of this, I just put audio. I guess I could just put BGM because, again, that's the only thing. Whenever I'm doing my longer videos and I have multiple audios, that's usually why I make a folder. This one, I'm probably just going to have one. My folder for YouTube is in my YouTube folder, my YouTube musics. I have 808s. That's like a whole separate project. YouTube audio, I categorize them by emotions. And for this one, I kind of want something like inspirational, like when I think of it, I'm thinking of like Latin, like dramatic hero music. So let's see, inspiration. Let me change my audio source because I think I have it set to my speakers. Okay, change my interface. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that should be good. Cinematic. So inspiration cinematic. And then I want to listen to this before we play it. So let's see. No, that's not it. But see, I've also used these so much that like I kind of remember what they are. I'm using VLC, which is like a free video player. Let's see. This one might work. So what we're going to do, we're going to open this one and it imports there. We're going to Control I. That's a Christmas one. That's a sad one. Future gliding. Another site that I pay for, I caught it during like a very, very like good sale. They might still have it. It's actually Melody, which is MELOD.I, and it's music for storytellers. But right now I have the creator plan lifetime. It was literally only 59 bucks. I caught it on sale. Don't know what it is now, but it gives me unlimited download, covers all websites, social media, podcast, live streaming, save world forever, AI. I get to monetize one channel per platform, and it releases new stuff. So what's cool about this website, right? If you go to browse music, you can go by the moods. This isn't sponsored, by the way. It's just me like sharing what I love. You got the moods, you got the instruments, you got the purpose. So like 50s, 60s, action, adrenaline, detective dramedy, which drama comedy, the tempo, the key, the artist. It goes really in depth. So I'm thinking I want to do something that's like powerful. So click on powerful, and it gives you everything that would fit. So let's see. No, that's too rock for me. Let's go genre. I kind of want something like cinematic. So if I want something powerful and cinematic, let's see. You can also tell by the audio wave. Like this one's going to be a consistent one. This one has a build up. Nope. We're like a warrior. Okay. But also one that you can never fail is going to the YouTube studio. We're going to go to audio library. So you can go here. Let's do warrior. Zoink Scoob, that's funny. I like that one. Not for this project, but I really like that one. But the downside with this, they don't update them very often with this kind of stuff. So let me, Epic Journey. Yeah, so we'll download this one. That one. This is like completely free. This is YouTube copyright free. Chariots of War. How does this one sound? I like this one too. So now this is where the fun part comes in. Now we go to where we have our stuff saved. We're gonna import these two and audio time. So I put it down here into audio track 1. We don't have anything here, remember? And obviously I'm not gonna use the whole thing, so. Wow, that couldn't have worked out any better than that. So I would Control B, delete that, and then what I would do, I would grab this, mute that, and I would grab this little tab to do kind of like a descendo, which is just going to bring it down. And if you notice, there's some parts where I was like, okay, this is just off just a little bit. So like, hello, sorry about that. I know the quality just completely switched. I ran out of space in the iPhone. So, and it's also about to die. So what I need to do, I can listen to it, zoom in on the audio timeline, and then just listen. So it's like, so if we go out, we got, and then I know that this here needs a little bit of adjustment. So what if we did, this one needs to be extended, so let's save so that we don't lose anything. And let's adjust this clip. Is that? So let's move that. Let's see. We're gonna have to drag this down, moves up. That way we don't mess with the rest of the timeline. Yeah, so that looks good to me. So let's go ahead and delete that. Boom. This one we're gonna have to move. Actually move this one up and go over just a little bit. So let's zoom in, deselect that, go here. Now you don't have to delete like these individual things. I just think it helps. And so what I would do now, because I always do it, I drag a text, I turn the magnet back on, go here, and then I go to thanks for watching. Oops, that's the full screen. I'll show you how to do that in a second. I can type, Control All, Poor Richard, and then we're going to drag this down the y-axis, make it that big, drag up a little bit, go here, and I will make that transition by dragging that clip and go here. And since that one just abruptly went like that, and what I might do, so that way it's not just awkward like a 5-second quietness, we're gonna go and finish. Now, if you want a special text looking thing, you can do that. Or my favorite, I go down here to the jitter, which is just like it moves a lot. So what I would do, I'd grab this, Control C to copy it. It would keep the whole thing. I would go Control Paste, Control V, and of course, it's gonna be in Open Sans. That's what it defaults to. Poor Richard. Okay, we can move this down right here and zoom out to be a little bit like that. And so now we delete that. I know it looks kind of confusing, but I promise it makes sense. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And there we go. Perfect. There's that. And change the zoom. All right. Save. We don't need this marker. I accidentally did that while touching it. Please select it. Okay, so now, boom. Okay, save. And yeah, that is pretty much the entire process on how to make the video. So let me go ahead and switch cameras back. Whew. I know that was a gauntlet. I know that was a long video, but there is your final product. That's how you do it. That's how I personally make my videos. And my golden rule of thumb as right now as a novice like editor, for every minute of footage I have, it's roughly an hour to an hour and a half of editing that I have. Now this is also only 2 cameras. This does not include having a third camera. This has nothing to do with color grading or more in-depth text effects or anything like that. This is just how I make an art video, making simple art video. It looks like it's a lot of work. I appreciate all the editors out there, all the people that create things. This is just my personal thing. So thank you for staying with me with the longest video on this channel. If you guys like this one, I'm going to have to edit. So this is an hour worth of footage. So it's going to take me quite a while to edit this. So hopefully this is out in time for you to watch it after the film equipment video. So peace, love, and hot sauce. And as always, thanks for watching. Okay, I know I also just gave y'all the, see y'all later kind of sort of thing. One other thing I want to show you, because this video has the actual video, I'm gonna show you how to make other timelines so that way you can keep all your stuff in one project. That's what I personally do. So what you'll do, I'm gonna show y'all on this camera. Well, I guess I could just show you on here still. So what you'll do, you'll go over here to File, you'll go to New Timeline, and if you want to keep the same project settings that you have currently, so I'm actually going to use the project settings because it's going to be the behind the scenes for this video. I'm going to create, and what that does, it just creates a whole new timeline. Don't freak out, everything you did is still here. It just create behind the scenes, and then that's where I'll put whatever clips I need to go here. And also, since I'm making this into a short, I'll go to File, new timeline. I'll call this one the shorts. And I'm not going to keep that project setting. I'm actually going to go to format, and I'm going to use vertical resolution. So it's still going to be 1080 by 1920, still have my 59.94 frames per second, and I'll create. So that means anything I put in here will now be vertical, just like a phone. Versus the regular timeline, it's the full side flip kind of sort of thing. Go from there. Future editor Sean here, who completely forgot the last step in making this video. I'll just show you real quick. Turn it this way. When you're ready to finish your video, this little rocket ship right here is going to be delivered. This lets you completely change everything when it comes to formatting it. So however you want to format it. I go to YouTube, right there. File name, for right now, I'll put how to make an art video. And then what you'll do, you'll change whatever, the codecs, the format, whatever, and then you go over here to add render queue, and then it'll ask you where you want to save it. I'll save, and then you would hit render. But since the video is not done, I won't be able to do the video yet, but just give you a quick sort of synopsis, little thing of it. For me, it takes no time at all because, well, that's just how my build is. It may take you a little bit longer, but it does show you like a rough scrubbing of the video being rendered and stuff like that, certain frames and everything of that nature. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't take my computer long to render it, but also this is a very short video. I know I have had in the past when I didn't have the studio version, it took a hot minute for some of my videos to render. Other ones, not so much. For example, this is, I think, how long was this? Like a minute video or something like that. And it's already at 73%. Actually, it's done now. 38 seconds for it. Now, yours might not be like that, but it gives you the option to render the entire timeline or a certain range. Yeah. Sorry about that. That was like super last minute. I promise that's the last cut. That was something I completely forgot until I stepped away from the computer. So, okay, yeah. Now we're done.